Hi, everybody. Can't believe it. Another end of the month. It's the end of August, which means it's another garden tour. So today I'm going to try to point out some of the other plants that I usually forget to when we do these tours, because I usually concentrate on the vegetable garden. These willows that we are going to be fighting with for the rest of our lives to keep them trim, because willows are what they are. They grow very fast, very vigorously, and make a great hedge. Something I am very happy that came up is the sea berry I planted last year. So that's doing well. I expect great things from that. It's a nitrogen fixer, so I'm growing it mainly for its leaves and eventually composting material. Here is a plant that let's see, was it last year? A friend was moving and they had some neat plants around their yard. And one of them was this apparently mountain mint. I looked it up. I hope that's what it is. But I was so excited, so I took a sprig and I plunked it in the ground and then forgot about it. Luckily, it survived, as mints sometimes do. And now I have a beautiful specimen coming up, and I'm very excited for this to propagate because they don't spread too badly. And there's just such an interesting form and color contrast. Over here is another plant that a friend gave me. This is its second year, a canna lily. I had two bulbs, but I left one in the ground and killed it, so now I only have one bulb. So this one I will be pulling out of the ground, which is not my favorite activity to do, but I will try to keep it alive. So this is some more of that berry bush. And then we have certain pines through here. I believe these are English walnuts. It's been here, well, since we moved-ish, so 4 or 5 years. And they haven't borne any fruit yet, but they're not exactly in the best soil conditions, or nor do we take very much care of them. But eventually, I expect they'll bear fruit. Here is a line, 1, 2, that's a pear, and then 3 apples. I trimmed this a few months ago, I'd say. They were fruitless completely this year, but someday, maybe next year will be a better year. This white mulberry is growing really well. I'm very excited for that. Unfortunately, the honeyberries have not survived. So one of the great accomplishments, not by me, is that I actually got sunflowers this year. I had very little hope for these. They were transplants from seed that were in their containers too long. They looked really pathetic. And then I expected more rodent issues or bunnies to chew on them, but I only lost a few. And now I have, these were the resilient ones. I had like a few, like called chocolate, I think, chocolate sunflowers, and none of those seem to have come up. But whatever these are, were the most resilient. I also had thrown in a couple of Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth, and they did not get very big. We've had a drought. I have not watered any of these. This Rudbeckia planted itself here. Otherwise, just my little, I was hoping to make like a wild garden here, is yet to come to fruition. I had some things coming up, and then the dog, as I kind of expected at some point, was digging stuff up. So nothing is up from the first sowing. Oh, maybe not. Maybe a Cosmo or a Marigold or something is coming up there. I visited a friend's, and she had these Autumn Joy sedum, all over the place. So I took a sprig and I rooted it, and it's fine, like in a cup for a solo cup, and then I now planted it out. So I'm very excited if that keeps propagating. She also had some baptisia. These are some of the pods. So I put them under the seeds. I don't expect those to come up till next year, if at all. And then we have the lamb's ear here. So the seed pods I'm going to cut at some point, but the leaves are healthy. I've done quite a bit of cleanup. You might not be able to tell. The grasses are so obnoxious. But I took out like the stalks of the hollyhocks. Still have to do, well, there's always to do. We still have quite a few of the calendula, and it's toward the end of the season that you usually get some weird, funky, like Astor's yellow looking situation, but it doesn't seem to be the case this year. So that's always interesting. And this is the same bed they've been in the whole time. So maybe that's not a disease that carries through year after year. The lemon balm needs a huge whacking because it is taking over, which I knew that might happen. Now, this the anise has up, looking beautiful. And then, can't for the life of me remember what this is, but this I had already had for a couple of years, and it appears we'll have to wait to see when they flower, but that it's moving itself. It's some kind of bee balm. Yeah, bee balm. It's the wild bergamot. That's it. It's moving itself around. And then there's another, I believe, bee balm. This one. Can't remember that particular name. And then our chia is still alive. But chia takes forever. So this is not the year for them either to give me any seeds. But at least I got them to this point. I'm not very good at keeping up with my comfrey and my stinging nettle. I usually in the spring, early summer, I get to it, and then the rest of the year they just do as they do. I don't think I water these at all. Nah, no, they never hardly get any water other than rainwater. So here they are. If I can remember to take a bit of the leaves and stem and put it in the compost, that's what I usually do with it. Space is going to get a bit of an overhaul next season, I think. It's not working out for me. It's just too weedy. I'm losing a lot of crops that I shouldn't be. Cosmos is doing fine. The zinnias also, since we haven't had any rain, we haven't had much issues with rust and powdery mildew. So that's been wonderful. Unfortunately, only one of my Dusty Miller remains. The others have been eaten down, so it's just a matter of time. But all this grass is just, I can't keep up with it. It has swallowed up all my saffrons. Um, I don't know, some other thing that I might have planted there at some point. It's just annoying. So I might move some of my strawberries here, but otherwise I would like a long raised bed maybe along this border to keep the grass at bay. You can see that this pumpkin is on its way out, which is expected. Lots of powdery mildew here. We have had the vine borer also attacking, so that could be part of it. And then I'm having an issue with this container of sunchoke. It is probably been compromised at the root system because the plant doesn't care how much water it's getting, it's still droopy. Whereas this one is perfectly healthy and fine. So that's sad. But the figs are alive. We might get a second flush of berries. This is supposed to be a thornless blackberry, and it hasn't. Let's see, when did I plant this? Not too long ago, so maybe next year we'll get a fruit out of it. This is my little container of supposedly lemongrass, but I don't believe it yet, although it should be. This is my rosemary, doing really well in this partial heat situation. So I gotta trim up some of the extra growth here and dry it up. Over here is my weedy patch with some strawberries. My other strawberry plants, these are June bearing, so they just survive for the rest of the year, keeping them watered. So back here is another sunchoke container, which you can barely see because it's hidden in all the weeds. But I've got it like super fortified with netting and the netting mesh, wire mesh, because I know things like to eat the tubers. So hopefully that makes it and be okay. I've forgotten to water it, so but I caught it. This is one of my Moroccan squashes that I use as a winter squash, even though if you catch it early, you can use it as a summer squash. Here is a case of, what is it, the vine borer. And I don't even know why. Well, the plant was strong throughout the season, but these are the acorn squashes. But it just bore fruit like a couple weeks ago, and then the plant just fizzled out recently. So the vine borers got to that. And then, let's see, the Moroccan squash is also on its way out. Might have also been hit, but the fruits are far enough along that I don't mind so much. Then this butternut, I believe, I can't even tell because I definitely have one butternut, and that seems to still be strong, healthy plant. Then I have this, which was also supposed to be a butternut, which it is not. It looks more like a pumpkin maybe or something. Um, that plant, I mean, the tops look okay. The bottom should generally be looking less okay. Let's see. Let's see, we have another fruit coming on here. Not sure whose vine that belongs to. That could be the butternuts or this one. Looks like a pumpkin. Oh, and then this Moroccan squash, I twisted the stem when I moved it. So I might have compromised that one. This bed, we have zucchinis that really need to be pulled up already. And then I had like one fruit possibility of this one, but then, oh, there's another fruit. No, never mind. That one can stay. This is the third, which has not been prolific, but it looks like it's trying to make another fruit there. So annoying, these plants. I've let most of the basil that are at the back of the property go to flower. And then the sweet potatoes, I thought I saw flower the other day. Where'd it go? But that's a good indication, they say, of that it's making nice bulbs underneath the ground. But otherwise, I don't know. What else? Look at that baby little melon there. That looks like a cantaloupe. Now the weather at the moment is chill on the cooler side. It's only mid 70s on the high side. It's been very comfortable as a human being. I don't know what that means for plants. The carrots I finally unmasked, and there's some nice looking roots under there. The cucumbers are on their way out. They still manage to give a fruit here and there, but they've been struggling most of the time. I still never got a flower from the moonflower vines. And they've grown and grown and grown, but no flower yet. But one thing I was not necessarily excited about, but don't mind so much, is the leeks flowered instead of providing me nice stems. But they have such a nice pale pink coloration to them that's so pleasant to see. So most of them have bolted and will give me flower and not just the stalk. Let me get closer to the carrots. So let's see. I tried to keep up with the watering. So this one, can you see? Leaves everywhere. This one's a good size head. That doesn't mean it's very deep, but that's very promising, that one. And then you got, skinnier ones. I believe there's 3 different varieties in here. I have a black nebula or something, but that's hard to see in the soil. But, we'll give that some time. Harvest it when it gets chilly. So I've got a mess of weeds. This is like another leek that's gone to seed or flower. I've got celeriac in here. Not really sure. It's my first year growing it, so I'm not really sure what to expect for that. And then it looks like I have pokeweed or something trying to grow out of my plants. Now this container has a later sowing of leeks, so this may or may not be productive for me. I mean, it suffered quite a bit with the drought and watering on a schedule, so we'll see about that. Now back here, I did some rearranging. This is the cinnamon basil doing beautiful, and these are spearmint and peppermint also doing nicely. I need to harvest and dry those. This is a volunteer cherry tomato, which I wasn't crazy about, and another volunteer borage. So I just moved this here. It used to be in the patio. I feel like it was too hot. My ginger is coming along. That's great. And then this was exciting. My, what is this? Yarrow, one of the not yellow yarrow, finally bloomed something. So that'll be exciting for years to come. And then I have future snapdragons. Lots of seedlings have survived. And then I believe future foxglove, which are a little overseeded here. And then these amaranth are puny, and I don't think they're going to make it for very much of time. I just want to point out the amount of weeding and pruning of things we did this week, but you can't really tell from the shop, but it was quite a bit. I'm very happy to see, although not particularly beautiful specimen, that the cleome is in flower all season. It's so pretty. One thing that has been a complete failure and disappointment is that my ground cherries have produced buckus for me. Buckus. Like, there were other plants that produced, but I didn't get to enjoy those either. So here we are in the middle. I did a lot of weeding here. There was some like rose bushes that I trimmed. That was fun. What's going on? These melons, there's really no hope for them, but I'm keeping them because they're still green. They haven't been attacked. This pumpkin was attacked by the vine borer, so that's just living. This is a new planter I picked up, so I filled it with some more zucchini. Let's see if there's enough time for that, and some fennel. I have a couple of basil I can plunk in also. This pumpkin vine is doing a lot better, so that's still alive there. And then this container has another melon that I'm letting live, and then I planted my peas all around, and this is like one parsley. And also this volunteer sunflower I am loving. Just wonderful. In this jungle, I have, what have I done? All right, we got our potatoes. This is russet. That's doing well. I also put in potatoes in here, but they have not come up yet. So I decided to put kohlrabi instead. This failure of a bed of beets is just collecting weeds at the moment. This is uh, this is celery that's gone to seed. I don't know if I lost all the seeds because I haven't been paying attention. And then there's a celery down here that I transplanted. And then there is a, yay, it's alive. Fig trees are amazing. They really are. But this was uprooted by the dog, so I had to plant it somewhere else. Back here we have probably past its prime turnips. We'll have to dig that up at some point. This I'm very excited about. This took like 3-4 times to get to sit, but the mung beans finally are productive. They're drying up nicely, so these I will be collecting. This is a dry bean that you boil and cook. And this bed had primarily red onions, which didn't do so well, but they're little things, perfectly good for eating. Mizuna planted itself here, and also what appears to be a celosia planted itself. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. In here is still lettuce that's gotten itself to seed, but I also plunked in some more lettuce, 1, 2, 3, that I seeded a month ago. And this bed is, like, I didn't think of it for some reason, but it could have been hornworm that attacked the tiny Tim. Otherwise, it's just a poor plant for outdoor purposes. This is a basil. This is a lemon basil from the looks of it. And then here's one that's a Genovese. And then this is a geranium kiss, which I'd forgotten completely about. Also isn't producing super well. There's at least one fruit. Turning around, we have some kohlrabi. Oh, over here we have some rutabaga. Looking good there. Oh, this one's really good. That's something you can make a mash out of already. Oh, the lighting is so bad. There we go. And then this is a bed of Swiss chard that it's just too drying the bags, I think, and my lack of watering skills. And a couple of spare onions. Back here is my wild, whatchamacallit, buckwheat. I've let the volunteer buckwheats just go because they're good. They're good for the bees. This bed I've allowed to run amok with this red vein sorrel. But otherwise, I also plunked in a few beans. So there's one. Where's the other one? There's two. Now, I used just one package. No, the whole package. Just one type of bean is supposed to be in here. But this appears to be, yeah, this is a different bean, which appears to be the same as this bean here, which isn't a bean at all. It's, what? Snap peas? Is that what they call these? I've never grown these. I've never bought these seeds because I don't particularly care to eat these. But now I have them. So I'm looking forward to adding them to some, like, fried vegetable stir fry stuff. So that was a nice, oh, they're still not my favorite, but it's still nice to have something for free. In this bed of peppers and volunteer tomatoes, these are really good volunteer tomatoes. I'm so happy that they're here. Let's see, the most productive poblano is coming in slow. The Jimmy Nardello is, I mean, these plants are stunted for sure, but the Jimmy Nardello pepper is so cool and big. What is it? A lot of these plants I'm going to try and overwinter because they didn't really get their chance to grow out and even fruit yet. This is what? This is habanero. Yeah, that still has a ways to go. This one, what's that one? The shishito is doing nicely. Quite a few shishito peppers on this. And then this, another overgrown mess. It's more ground cherry that I have yet to eat fruit out of. I can't even get in here. This is should be shishito peppers. I know there's some red ones already, but it's pretty nice and loaded. I've got dill at least. That worked out. I seeded that a while ago, and that's coming up. It is fairly shaded. What's this one? A sweet banana. All right. I haven't been in here, honestly. I water it, but I haven't like really looked in to these plants. And what do we have here? I don't know. Looks like another shishito. Sorry, there's also some more onions in here. So these got to a fair size. I would say. And then the beans, oh goodness. I think only one vine is still really alive. So they've given me this purplish fruit. Oh, it's complete, like, really having to go through these. So yeah, I've got these pods, and then these vines died out, but they had pods on them, so I let them go and just dry out the beans. Here's some of the little peppers. Thai peppers, Thai chili. Couldn't remember what it was called. There's a couple more other peppers in here. I know there's like a Jimmy Nardello in there, but I can't get to it right now. That'll have to be a dedicated video on this craziness here. There's another bean here doing really well. Oh, get eaten. But yeah, that bean is good, and the marigold, happy with bees. I'll do a separate dedicated video on this, but I had two broody mamas, and I'm letting them raise their chicks. It has been some extra responsibility that I wasn't really looking forward to. But now the generation continues. So the last videos were about the tomatoes and which ones were great and which ones were not. Still have not seen any fruit from this one, the pineapple, which I'm so sad. And also what's this one, the striped German or something like that. Yeah, no fruit from either one of these vines yet. But the volunteer noodle bean, which I believe is a volunteer from last year because I don't believe I planted any this year. So that's noodling. That's cool. The thing is, you really need to plant a lot of these because they take forever to become noodles like this. Like, what is that? 14 inches long, maybe? And so you're never going to get anything to eat if you're waiting and waiting and waiting on one plant. The hillbilly continues to be my giant tomato producer. My San Marzanos are doing very well. No more blossom end rot. I did quite a heavy watering a couple of days ago, and I'll continue to do that. This continues to just grow. Those are supposed to be Brussels sprouts. I did plunk in some new seedlings. If they made it, I'm not sure. Where'd they go? Oh, there's one. That's the one. This is a volunteer of some kind. Not sure what. And then this bed I finally planted out. So we have some cabbage in there. A couple of broccolis in the middle. I think, yeah. Yeah, I think I did cabbage on the corners and then broccoli in the middle. This eggplant sadness continues. I may be getting one black beauty right there. Other than that, not much going on. And then sporadic okra production. So basically ends up like being a medley of veggies, like a zucchini and okra and beans all thrown together to make a meal. But never a meal on its own, which is not really what vegetables are all about. I'm going to be harvesting the corn this weekend. I don't know what to expect. A lot of them have been ready for quite some time, so they might be past their prime. We will have to see. So yeah, the blueberries survive another year. I do want to move them. They're not doing me any favors over here. Now you would think I would be getting boatloads of fruit from these giant ground cherries, but alas, no, because mice or something um, have been keeping them for all themselves, and they've made like a nice nest of it over there, and I'm sure giving me lots of volunteers for next year. So, yay for next year. But these are on their way out. It's been too hot and dry for them. I love when the limelight hydrangeas turn from white to pink. So cool. And we got all our black-eyed Susans and our other hydrangeas hanging on, changing hues as well. This is where I moved some pots from a different location. So this is the Mexican mint, and this is lobelia. Oh, that's flowering! Oh my goodness! I didn't think I'd get to see it. Me have little faith. The lobelia is flowering. This is a good like a hanging basket plant apparently. So yeah, that's so cool. Probably have way too much in there, but whatever. And then I got a couple of peas that I plunked in. There was a third one, but that looks like it got eaten. Can't see it. Couple of peas there. And my lantana looking fabulous. And this bucket of turnip doing well as well. I've fed some of these plants. Lo and behold, I've done something. My ever-bearing strawberries, not disappointing. Now these have been more productive this year versus the one on the balcony. They're usually more productive and less productive. So go figure. And I have ignored this a lot and haven't watered super consistently. But I did plunk in more lettuce. This is arugula. This is my winter savory flowering. No, wait, that's the summer savory. It's flowering. And the winter savory is beautiful. I hope that at least the winter savory maybe will make it through to next year. I will attempt to cover this up with some kind of netting. The onions we've been eating. I haven't pulled out the onions because it hasn't rained, so I'm not afraid of like root rot or rotting at all. So I've left the onions in here. Now, unfortunately, my biggest onion was the one that went to flower, so I'm hoping to collect seeds from that. Rice is looking very dry. Ugh, I've neglected the rice, but I have not seen any kerneling yet, so might not be my year. I really make a lot of effort for these to try to grow this and haven't borne much fruit. My little bed of carrots and chives. The chives are looking good. The alyssum, I think these are, yeah, I think these alyssums are the only ones that have flowered like consistently all summer. And my sun gold, my most efficient sun gold. Jump on it. And then we have this bed, which I worked on quite a bit. Ooh, that's good sun gold. Yeah, can you see it? There's a broccoli head. That's exciting. Also, like getting to be past due. But that's about the only thing broccoli related that I've gotten. I'll do a second harvest of like the kale and stuff later. This is what's this? Bitter melon. No, this is a bitter melon. The other bitter melon in the green stalk failed because of the lack of water. This one's doing much better. And also I have some more sweet potatoes in here. And I also have a bean plant. Here it is. Oh, okay. We're beaning. That's good. This should be the same variety as the other one and the other bed. And then the other rice container doing much better, looking healthier, but still no kerneling. Then you can see why you want a container that keeps the water in. Way, way healthier looking. And also, this is the first batch of Rudbeckia that I've been given. Giant! So I'm very happy to have that around. And then my other mishmash space, we've got some celosia, I think, volunteering. My fennel, I don't really know what to do with. I mean, I can collect the leaves, I guess. It's flowering. This parsley is fantastic. This is the curly leaf. The flat leaf, I don't think I had a flat leaf survive. But look how gigantic this is. Another fennel here. I did seed some more cilantro, but since the water has been scarce, I don't know when those will come up. And then there's plenty of cilantro seeds that fell in here because this was all cilantro area. But we will have to wait and see on that. I took out a few of the volunteer feverfew because those are spreaders. This beautiful, beautiful flowering oregano, just so beautiful. I haven't gotten any flower from this yet. What's this called? White cypress vine. But the vines are strong. And the flowers are dainty, so not expecting. Oh, there's one. Not expecting a show. There's one. And one of the. Which one's this? Well, one of the amaranths was successful transplant. Nope, nothing in there. Just volunteers of those marigolds. But I do have to harvest this basil very soon. It's gonna go. I mean, you can see it's looking kind of dried up, and it's gonna go to flower very soon. Then this one I let go to flower. The lemon likes to go to flower pretty quickly. But yeah, this basil is gonna get used up this weekend. So last thing is my volunteer jungle of cherry tomatoes. I allow this because, well, free food. Who wants to complain about free food? Also, I could care less if this looks like this. And compost matter. This is a lot of green manure compost for my compost pile and for next year's soil. So all this greenery, I don't care if it bears fruit or not, is for that purpose. There is a sun gold in here producing. So there it is. And also I have this volunteer of some sort. I think it's a loofah. It just gives me loofah vibes. I could be wrong though. That this was definitely transplanted here by something else. Now, I keep saying to myself how proud I am that I've kept these impatiens alive all summer. And then even these Johnny jump ups that volunteered. And my little heuchera in the middle there. So that's so cute. Makes me want to do more of these baskets, even though it's such a pain to have to water them on the daily. So that's it for the garden tour. It's been a busy, I'd say, couple of weeks. We're having people over, and nothing motivates you more than the thought of people judging your space. So I have been spending a lot of times inside, not as much time as I'd like outside. So when that party's over, then it's going to be full on back outside. Plus, the school is starting up again, so it's going to clear up a lot more dedicated time for the garden, I hope. Let's see how I feel. I might crash out and burn. But I'm looking forward to it. I'd still like to put some seeds in the ground, particularly carrots and spinach. I keep hearing that that's something I could still manage to grow, besides the spinach that I already seeded had bolted already. So there's that. All right. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate all of you. And I'll just, I'm just over here continuing to do what I do. And I appreciate you for showing up and enjoying it as well. All right. Talk to you all again. So I'll harvest more. Bye.